How you guys doing? Alright, let's do it to it. Let's put it in. Alright. Alright, we're starting to get our attack going, my bros. Okay, so we played there. Let's just move my bishop there and then a castle. Because I want to do a break, but I want to do it just right. You might try, okay, so I played there. We got this here now, and I also have this ability of rerouting my bishop too. Sorry, I shouldn't do that. I remember, don't touch the piece, don't touch the piece till you want to move it. Okay, yeah, I like that bishop move, because I'm going to trade off the bishop potentially. A knight takes, and I can potentially pick this pawn up. Okay. Sorry about that. I gotta remember to not do that. So he takes there. Let's see if it'll rematch me. Okay, we'll just go over the game then. That's fine. I gave him an opportunity for a back thing, so I consider it a draw because he blundered. And remember, it's all about learning. You have to keep that in mind. I gotta check one thing out. There's a point in this game. So far so good there. So takes. He actually took here. This is actually what was played. So probably, yeah. And that wins. So I was winning. So you just, okay, you take there, he takes there, then you play there, alright. Place here. Nice, so you have that. Okay. Give it another shot. So we did have a win there. So we were right on that. Sweet. He's probably gonna play his knight. Oh. He might try to be getting him majority going, but I doubt that that's any good. I don't have enough for that, so. He's really going overextending to get this pawn back. It's like extreme overextension. Trying to see if I can't get a knight to B. If I do that, yeah, I'm just gonna play up one to get my bishop out. Potentially I'll trade it on D3. I think I'll just trade it off on D3. I know it's my good bishop, but I'm not too worried about it. Now I have a queen in the action, and I can actually play knight and then jump in. he takes here, I can take back with a bishop, then retreat and eyeball this pawn here. And even if not, I could take there, queen takes, and then knight goes to d4 with an attack on the queen. Then I could castle, and I'm still winning here. Potentially I'm hoping, I wish I can get there, but that's just too far away. I potentially could take here. Oh. I'll just pick up a piece. Or he'll intercept there. Let's grab that. No. Don't touch the pieces. Don't touch the pieces. I'll just grab the pawn. I know it's kind of suicide, but if he brings a rook over here, I could grab that pawn. He'll take there. Then I'll hold this pawn together. Or don't move the pieces, just keep it there. what did I do wrong here? I did something wrong with my knight. So I have that right. Oh, okay. Bring the king involved. I gotta remember that. If he comes there. So, okay. Okay. I'll try one more. I'll get one more shot. You gotta remember, in those pawn games like that, when the stuff's that tight, I gotta remember to bring my king in. I have to keep that into my new file. Okay. Let's wait till we get a game. We'll eventually get one. There we go. Alright. Alrighty then. Let's do this now. Let's try the standard London with just the knight move and the bishop comes out. I'll try the London. The straight up London. Then C, and then I'm going to plant my knight to C3. See if we can't set up a Benoni. Eyeballing the pawn there. If he plays queen here, I'm going to play C4. Yeah, there's patterns, and we're starting to see how these patterns actually work. Yeah, he weakened his position. So now we'll just drop that in, attack here. And then we can also play up there. We could see, alright, so I played bishop there, okay. Hey, how you doing? Now I have to figure if bishop takes the knight on e5, I can take back with the pawn, and I'm still attacking the rook. So I'd pick up a, I'd either pick up a knight or a rook. So this is an interesting stitch for him. I'm threatening mate on f7, so he's kind of in a pickle here. So he's gonna have to. He might even, yeah, he might do that. Then I'll just grab that pawn and attack his queen and his bishop at the same time. Well, maybe I should have taken, if knight takes knight, knight takes knight, knight takes knight, queen takes, knight takes. Do I pick up? Oh, I could have picked up a piece with knight takes knight, knight takes knight, bishop takes. Okay. Knight takes knight, queen takes knight, queen takes, knight takes, bishop. Oh, snap. I gotta take there. Then I grab a pawn here. So I think I'm still okay. Instead of a piece, I'll have like 3 pawns. So let's go back after we win this one, and we'll take scope to see what could have been played. I'm going to try to get my knight into d6. If he attacks the knight here, I'll see if I can't get knight d. Well, okay. Now I can actually play knight to let's see if I can't trap this knight. I mean rook, not knight. That's funny. And then also at the same time I can push here too. It's always a flaw. Shoot, this is pinned here. So maybe I could get a passer going this way. And then I can push here for protecting of my knight. So yeah, then I got a fork. Then I'll push the pawn to lock my bishop and protect these pawns, and then I can castle. The only move he's really got is there, and then I'll push. He might let his time run. Okay. get it locked down, then I can bring my other rook in. I want to get away from this, yeah. There we go. I'm gonna push here. I shall take there first, and I'll get my king involved. I'm wondering if I was wondering about this. Would this have been better here? Still a draw. Okay, this rook. And then if he tries that, then you could. Okay. I remember I left my rook in a pin. Then if he takes here, I take. If he tries that, now you can bring you can guard that way. You don't want to guard it this way. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Alright, we'll do some London system. Alrighty. This is the last of the chapter of the Benoni, and then we go into chapter 9, other lines of the against the London system. So that'll be fun. So d4, and of course the Benoni. Pawn takes. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay, this was a slight inaccuracy. And what he's saying is this: he's going to be brave and give this move a dubious move, even though players as strong as Vladimir Kramnik, have employed it in the past. The knight to e4 line is by far the opponent's most aggressive choice in the Benoni, this setup. Also in the Slav exchange variation. And so he's kind of going against the trend. There's the defending the similar position. Sometimes you have to be willing, even in the Grunfeld defense, to take time to set this up as black. And the knight on c3 also strengthens white's pawn structure. So if you take this pawn, you actually strengthen white's pawn chain, which is actually what he wants. It makes it huge. But it does do one thing. if this pawn ever gets traded off, he'll have a 2 versus 1 majority. So you have to kind of figure into that. So e3 to set up the Slav exchange variation slash Benoni. It's kind of this is kind of a mix and match kind of opening thing here. It says exchange, but it's very similar to the Slav. So, oh, you want to check the game out? Okay, we'll pick up here after we see this game. Let's take a look. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what the other lines are. That's going to be fun. D4. Oh, you're black. Oh, you're doing the Caro-Kann. That's pretty. That's a pretty fun line. Oh, he allowed you to do the advanced Caro-Kann. This is more of an aggressive line for white. Sorry, I mean black, not white. This is a more aggressive line. Reverse that. I got thirsty for a second there. Okay, this is the most aggressive line for black, the advanced variation. But this is white's best chance at this moment that I've noticed in some Caro-Kann games that I've looked at, and some of the DVDs that I've also in YouTube. That this gives white a tremendous amount of space, as Andrew Martin would say, it puts a bone in the throat of black. This pawn right here is a bone. That's like, it's a choke point that's going to be hard for white to get rid of once, black to get rid of once white goes c3, and then potentially so c4, sorry, c3, f4, knight to f3, and this is going to be a pretty big stranglehold on black. So it gives black gets one thing that white doesn't get at this moment. He has a more black has a more active light square bishop. So remember, give and take. You can't get everything in chess. You have to give something up. Like black had to give up some space to get his bishop to f5. So knight. Oh, I'm surprised he played that. I would have thought something like this. And then after there, and then potentially you could have played here. Kind of set up maybe a. Let me see. Kind of set up like this, and potentially bishop here to get it out and trade off the knight. Bishop there. White castled. Black castled. And then potentially knight to g5. If bishop takes g5, pawn takes g5, which now the bishop's open and the bishop protects. So this is pretty good for white in this line. I'm surprised he didn't go down the c3 line and kind of set up a similar French or a Slav kind of close Slav setup. That was kind of odd. It looks more like an advanced variation, because he could actually set up the potential advanced variation with this here, and then knight to f3, and he has something similar to an advanced French, but the only difference is black's bishop's on the outside. So this is actually a better French for black, because otherwise black's bishop's usually inside. So this wouldn't actually be a very good French setup for white. So e3, e6, knight f3. All right, you pinned his knight. So a6, a5, b4. Oh wow, he's really putting the pressure on you. Yeah, I would love to have played here, but there's only one sitch. He gets this, and then when you play, if you play back, then he gets this, and it's like, ouch. So you kind of have no choice but to do that. Yeah, it's kind. I think that's kind of where I got it from. I've been watching a lot of St. Louis and the Caruana's games. He likes setting up a certain type of French setup for white. Yeah, I think he also played this move. I'm not sure if it's against Var Kobian, kind of French setup like this, or it might have been Lenderman. Lenderman. H3. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. White's going berserk. Bishop H7. Bishop D. So takes. Queen takes. Knight E. Wow. There's a ton of weaknesses in White's camp. He does have a huge yeah. Well, he's got weaknesses here, here, here. 3 backward pawns. Actually, if you want to think about it, he's got, in theory, 5 backward pawns potential. So the knight, yeah, you have a tremendous advantage here. I had to ask a question though. What was the idea behind knight E G6? What was this idea? Knight E G6. I'm kind of puzzled at that. H4. Well, if he played here, couldn't he play potentially H4 himself? And then if you tried, I guess you could try knight to H7, but oh, true. That's right. Yeah, I forgot. You can't. That's right. You can't push because the queen. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, now that makes sense. Okay. Yep, that makes sense now. So he takes there, and you bring. Yeah, that makes sense now. Yeah. Uh huh. So H4. So he castled. Where couldn't you take here? If pawn takes, then you check. If king was over, then you grab that pawn. If he pushes, you grab that pawn. If he moves, you check. He moves there. You put your rook in front. And don't worry, I missed stuff too, so it's not. It's, you know what? Don't worry. If he plays there, we have mate, so he can't play there. If he tries, let's say, no, he can't do that. Maybe queen check there. Maybe he keeps there. Yikesies, yikesies. Now white's in trouble. So maybe we bring our rook up first. That is interesting. Nice setup there. That was good. I was thinking about something similar, maybe grabbing a pawn there. But I don't think there's a point to that, because then he has this. Well, maybe instead of check there, maybe we could have played here. Takes there. Oh, that's mate, so I can't do that. Something like that. That's interesting. I think you should have did a slightly maybe. Well, no, that would be bad. Not there. Let me see. I kind of see why you did that now, because yeah, d4, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Then c3. This is an interesting move that it reminds me of a game, Wesley So versus Shaq. It was the first one in the, I believe, Rapid one, but it was something like over here, something like this or something. He had his knight king right here, so the pawns were here, were in these spots for white, and Wesley had a black king here, and all Shaq had to do was come over and check here. The king would have moved here, and he could have made a pass pawn. It reminds me of something similar to this. So this a check, and if he comes here, you have a check there, and he really can't do anything but go either there or there. And either one, let's say here, now you have your danger, and if he plays there, you play up there. And if he tries, he can't play there, so let's say he tries getting that going. I forgot all the move, a little bit of the move sequence, but it was such a shocking. He won, but he kind of did it a little awkward. It wasn't. Maurice Ashley and Yazzer wondered why he didn't play that type of setup that we just went over. Yeah, this still is winning. This still wins as well, so it's not like it doesn't win. I believe you even have, this is actually a very crazy move as well. This is an insane move. I know it looks like, what in the world are you doing? If he takes here, he doesn't have enough time, you queen. So just keep these ideas in mind. This kind of is a crazy, crazy move. He's going to have to retreat out at that point. And then now you can get your a-pawn flowing. I almost would give this one a double exclam mark here. This is like an insane move, because if he takes there, you take, king takes, and he can't stop the pawn. So if he tries there, he can't stop the pawn. Isn't that a crazy move? I almost give that this like an double exclam. I actually found one. Sweet. That is cool. So you want to play king c2. Where's king c2 here? You don't want to do d3. Well, I guess you could do, no. The rook would take. You wouldn't want to do d3 at this present moment. I'd probably at this point get my rook involved. I mean, not my rook, my pawn involved here. And if he tries, I just get that going. And if he plays there, I get that going. Yeah, if I goes there, now you have that, and it's like, what did we just open here? Because if he takes, that queens with check. So it's like, that's a super. I'm just like I shouldn't be impressed, but I'm not proud or anything, but I'm just like, wow. I found a double exclam move. Cool. Well, see, told you guys, practicing does make perfect. So when you get to see these games and you drop that type of a move on your opponent, it's like, whoa, hello, it's like wake up call, and your opponent's like, uh-oh, spaghetti-o, What do I do now? Let's see. I want to check something out. I want to see if the computer thinks this move's good. Hold on. Let's give it a second. Let's let it calculate all the way through. Because sometimes it takes a second for it to actually calculate to see if this move is a good move. Yep, there it is. There it is. At the very last second, it looked at it. So this was a triple exclam. Because it had to, at the very end, it changed its mind at the very end. Let's see if we're right with A. Yeah, I was looking at this king move, but I was just a little concerned about him taking here. But I'm thinking it's okay if we play there. I think we could actually, yeah, at this point, because this is guarded now, okay. You can actually check. Now if he goes back, you can threaten almost mate with 2. Here, you can get your king involved and threaten mate. So king has to move. Then we get the king involved to d3. Oh, you take a pawn. What happens if you move here? You could take. And if he pushes, I don't know. I'm kind of liking. I can see what could happen if he plays there. You bring your rook. And if he comes down, now you can bring your king up. I'd probably play king up. Then if he queens, you play rook takes, and then you check. And there's no way to stop the queening. Yeah. This is an insane game. That's a great game, man. Yeah, it's game over at this point. Yeah. But I just gotta say, that dropping that's a McCall tall move. This right here, it's like, wow. To be able to see a tall move like that, that's a dream move. When you can actually think like tall, yeah, baby, you gotta love that. Okay, we'll get back to our London system now and keep improving so we can see more of those. We'll keep studying so we can get better and better, and then we can see more double exclam moves. That'll be sweet. Okay, knight c3. Take c3. Bishop takes. So by them taking, remember what we talked about? The author said that taking, he even kind of says he's kind of stepping on the big player's toes by saying that knight to e4 is a dubious move. But the reason his backing on that is exactly what happened. This when the pawn took back, it strengthened white's chain. So white has a massive pawn chain. Oh, it's like a humongous pawn chain, and he plays G6, which is dubious. Commonly played but inferior in his opinion. That's what he says. Basically, black is a move down in what similar to a Grunfeld defense. This is very similar to a Grunfeld. He would have had, I believe, the bishop would have been here at this time, and that's what he's talking about because of waste of this move here. If he would have left the knight here and played this, and then we had to do something, he could have fianchettoed, then had a Grunfeld set up, but because he wasted 2 moves, Black did, White, he has an inferior Grunfeld setup. So let's go back here. He should have set up a very similar French. He should have set up a French, but this is more a London-like, if you want to think about it. But if Black castles into this, it's gonna be a sad day at the office for Black. He's gonna wish he never traded off this knight. This knight is usually the knight that stops the Greek gift, and when this one's gone, oh baby, you're in trouble. So bishop there to kind of see if they can't seal up this. This pawn's pushed, so no bishop to protect h7 either, so yikes. So bishop, oops, sorry, there. Bishop e2, oh, castles. What Simon Williams might have thought about playing is h4 castles, and then potentially you have a Greek gift set up with king takes, check, king goes there, queen comes in. If bishop takes, now you have this massive attack, and if you played rook here, you have mate. So he's in a big time problem, and if he tries pushing to break, what do? We just push the pawn and say, you're gonna get mated, my friend, anyways. So it doesn't matter once that gets pushed. So that's why you don't really have to do this castles. You can just do an h4, and then if Black wants to castle, he's just going to castle into a massive attack. He can't take here. Black's stuck in the center for the time being, and then now we can start playing on the queen side too if we need to. We can even play our knight to g5 and take some puck shots at Black. So you don't always have to castle. Otherwise, it gets, sometimes the London system, if you do that, it gets really positional and boring. But if you have an opportunity to play h4, man, do it. Go for it. You're going to get some beautiful attacking lines. You're going to have to love the attack, though, because you may even have to sack a piece or something just to get the kill, or the takedown, sorry, the takedown of the king. So don't be afraid to do that. So e4, this is playable as well. This gets an exclam because you're setting up for a pretty massive of an attack. You're getting your bishops and your knights and your queen and the h4 set up. I want to see if what the computer thinks about h4, though. I just want to see what it thinks about. I'll let it sit here. I always wanted to check this out. So if h4 is played, so he'd castle, and then if we tried taking there, king takes, knight jumps in. If he comes up, we take there, and we potentially, first we can check again, and maybe even set up a mate. He's going to have to play here. That's for a forced line. Then we retreat back, and we're still up material. This is a mass. So this is actually a really good move. What does it think about castles? Wow, that's an inferior move. We found a superior move. Sweet. This is a superior move right here. And if he castles, then we drop that. Yeah, we get to, because when he traded off his knight for our knight on c3, he allotted us this type of setup. That's why the author of Play the London System said that he's putting his kind of his, as they say, neck on the line here. But I do agree that this sets up for a beautiful Greek sacrifice. But if you want to play more positionally, you can. You got to have some people say guts. I would say you have to be very brave to go for a setup like that. So castles. So, oops, I gotta turn off the engine. We don't need engine's help, do we? No. He's also saying that there's a potential c4 move. If you're wanting more to break the center down, this is more. But you don't really want to do that, because black would be more than happy now. He's got 2 versus 1. So you kind of want to keep, if you're playing positionally, you kind of want to keep the c pawn and see if you can break with the e pawn. But he played g6, which is an inferior Grunfeld setup. 1 tempo behind. So knight to e5, bang. This simply continually ensures white's advantage. Black could try. He played knight takes here. Black has another opportunity of playing rook to b8, which is, hold on, I have to put an interesting move, because I think that's very an interesting setup. Because now you're going to try to play b4. So hold on, what did I? Oh, I gotcha. My bad. This is not for black. It's for white. If he plays, let me see, rook b1, that's the interesting move. I was wondering why he'd place a rook there for the bishop to take. That didn't make sense. And then bishop g7, c4, castles. Hold on, what did b5? This is another interesting move with the idea of taking. If you think about it, he wants to take the d pawn. So you could play bishop e2 as well if you wanted to. Another, let's see here. What am I missing here? c4, bishop e2. Oh, c takes d. Bishop takes. So now we're fully developed. Black is castled. We are slightly not safe. He could play a6. That's what he played, and then this is another setup. One time I played a game like this before, over the board, a long time ago. It's been a little bit ago, and you have to be very careful you don't trap your rook, because you'll be in a world of hurt if you do. Queen b6, castles. It's kind of like this is now or never castle, because the queen's coming in and you don't want that to happen. So now we're attacking the bishop. Bishop's attacking the rook, I mean. Rook c5, and more likely bishop will, let's see, rook c5. What in the world? This is a crazy move. He's saying that potentially this was actually played one time. That is crazy. In so many different ways. That's crazy. Now we're attacking the rook. So rook e1, and then bishop to c3, queen c1. Yeah, and he even said it's crazy compensation. So yeah, this is not a normal setup for black, to say the least. So white played the best line and played e5. So he kind of he calculated that line surprisingly over the board, and I thought that was pretty stellar of an attack. So takes. There is a, remember, now this is for black. This is dubious. This is a dubious move. Better is taking. Surprisingly, better is actually taking in that line. And so knight takes c, pawn takes, and queen to a4, threatening a pin on an attack on the pawn. And bishop d7 and rook to b1 with infiltration on b7. So this is actually the best move. It doesn't get an exclam mark, but it's the best move for black. Bishop takes. This attacks the rook, so f6 is forced. He has to play f6, and then we just retreat our queen or bishop back to g3. He goes g7. He finally gets a fianchetto in. Oops. I'll just move my oops, there we go. Just gonna keep that right there out of the way. H4 now, which I thought was cool. I like that move. And then there's also, he says, if you wanted to play kind of less attractive but more positional line, you could play c4, king check, or queen checks, queen d2, queen takes d2, king takes d2, and we have pressure down the b and the c file. So these two files, the rook would go here, bishop would develop after takes. So if he took here, bishop would take, we would have a rook there and then a rook here. So we would have two pressure points. So that's an interesting idea as well. He went h4 though. So f5, which develops the bishop. h5, which now we're trying to see if we can't maybe pry this open, or potentially go h6. He castles. Queen b3, because the bishop is no longer protecting b7, so why not just take a scope at that, take a little attack at it and go, oh, are you forgetting something? Your foot soldier on b7? The bishop's like, oh no, I knew I forgot something. He's like, but I set up for a perfect sniper spot. I don't want to retreat back, so what are we gonna do? Basically, and so the rook's like, don't worry about it. I'm gonna play rook to c8. Queen protects me, and if the queen takes, we will get the c pawn. So for the life of Barry, we will get Charles. And so what we did is we just played h6 exclam. I forgot to put a exclam mark in there. And this is what he says: an excellent judgment. White resists taking and pushes to h6, knowing that this would be more of a bind for black's position. Later on, we can use the attack with the pawn on g7. There is a potential, he says, takes is another line, h takes, and bishop to our bishop e2 is an exclam mark, I believe. Yep. there's actually two lines. There's this line here, bishop e2, exclam, and then there's queen takes b7, which is actually a mistake. So we got an exclam move and a mistake. We'll go over the exclam move first. So a5, and then rook to c1. And white stands a shade better here, but now if the queen takes the pawn, we allow rook takes, and queen takes a7, so we get to gobble another pawn, and then we get queen c8 for black, which is an exclam move. This is a setup for victory here, because we can actually potentially trade that off and get a huge attack coming down the pike. So white's got to watch out for this. So queen to a4 is forced it, so that a4. Hold on, gotta make sure I got my notes set up. Rook takes e7 check, which is very surprising because we have a check idea there and a bishop. So if he took, so f takes, then we play queen c3, and white has to fight for equality here, because if he tries to run, he's going to be in a big world of hurt with a check. If he tries to run, maybe we can bring our rook down like that, something like that, some sort of setup like that. But yeah, so h6, why should white put himself through that? Just play h6. And he played queen plays a5, rook c1 to guard the pawn twice. This is guarded, so white's position is solid at this moment. Bishop to h8, and bishop e2, and rook to c6. There's also b6 really doesn't do anything for black, because white just castles. Rook f d8, kind of trying to stay protection on that pawn there. c4, now we're attacking it, and we have three pieces. Black only would have two, so we'd be fine. After takes, he'd only have two. So c takes d. One sec, did I push the wrong SD? Hold on, what did? Hold on, a little bit longer. Oh, bishop to e6, gotcha. It's e6. I knew I had something that bishop takes d. c4. Rook takes, takes, queen takes, king f8, and rook to c1. And now you get to see the problem sitch that black's in because of this pawn. He doesn't have g7 to go to. Now you see the h6 move really is like a dagger in the throat of black's position. Not fun, to say the least. So rook c, and then queen takes the pawn, wham. And queen to b6. Who said black should agree to just grab the a pawn. So r, he could play rook f to c, c8. We castle. Queen d8, and black's kind of in a very tough situation here, So queen to b4. Rook takes C, which is oops, sorry, wrong one. I believe after this he's in. Let me see. That would be line B. Okay. And white remains a pawn up in this line. So now there's an even, I guess, worse line that could be played if we take C takes. That's a mistake. Hold on, what did I take C? Castles. Hold on. Oh, that's the reason. Duh. Okay. Rather than here. Oh, that's funny. I was in the wrong spot. That is funny. I knew there was something amiss there, because it's like he needed the castle, and it's like, huh. So then rook takes e8 to hold this pawn. Rook c7. Now we're eyeballing the pawn, and white has a flight square on h2, so this h pawn does do a lot of things. It gives the king a flight square, takes away black's space, and makes white's life very happy, very, very happy. King f7. Oh, king f, not f7. King f8. Black gets mated after. If he plays, this is actually a mistake here. It looks like, why can't he do this? No. Bishop f1. Exclam. Bishop d3. Rook takes, and then queen takes check, and king h2. White's king sits safe and snug, and black doesn't really have anything that he could actually do here. He's losing, totally losing at that point. So 22 is, it's white to move. So bishop to d6. This is an exclam. Black's king is toast in this line. If we played, let's see here. Oh, my bad. Okay, good. Yeah, this is game over here. And so it's over at this point. If he takes, check. So let's just work it out. Takes, check, check. And if he moves here, we mate him. If he takes here, we mate him. So he's over at that point. It doesn't matter what he does. It's game over. Next game, please. So takes. If queen takes e, let's see here. Wait a second, I'm missing something at this moment. Hold on, guys. Okay, oh, I see. My bad there. This is what he's talking about. I was like, huh. Too many lines going on in my mind there. Like, I was thinking this line, that line. It's a dubious move. Dubious, because there's really no point. Queen to b2 attacks the rook, and this move actually saves black's, as they say, hide, and it saves him because he can't castle, otherwise he would lose his bishop. So rook d1's forced. Queen takes check. King f1, and then queen to a5, and now he's got an equal position, and he's basically safe, and it'll end up becoming a draw at this point. Takes c4 to break down the king side, the center. c8, castles. Rook to b2 to attack the bishop, and then bishop plays bishop to f3. Just like black is totally busted here, because if he tries taking here, he loses a rook, so he can't. And if pawn takes, we always have this move here, and we just take at that. And we could actually maybe play something like this and bust the position open. I'm not sure what would be a good move after that. Like, he plays g5, which is again another dubious move. There we go, dubious. Let's get rid of that. Best for black is actually d takes, knight d5, king f8, like what we talked about. Rook takes, bishop takes, and white is better, but it would still leave black -1 pawn, but potentially with proper play, black may be able to draw this. Let me see, what are we talking about here? What are we talking about? What did I, hold on. Let's see, here, where, queen a5, hold on, let me see. Ah, gotcha, right here. This is the line you're talking about. Queen a5, bishop, d6. d6. There's no bishop d6. Is this for black? Oh no, this is for white. Gotcha. Yeah. I'm sure it has something to deal with if we play bishop there. I'm sure we have something with rook doubles up. And remember, we're still trying to prove our move sequence and what really can, after this move here, what can white really do. This is covered, that's covered, that's covered, that's covered. The king's safe, that's covered, that's covered, that's covered. So maybe rather than king f(c)(8), maybe, no, he can't play there. Oops, my bad there. So probably doubling up would be the best move in that line. I don't think it really much matters for black. I mean for white in that line. He's losing. G, and then we played c takes d5, and it's game over here. Let's see. Hold on. So what you're saying is, so bishop d, d6, then bishop to f. Hold on. Oh, are we talking about when this actually was good for? Oh, okay. Oh, like here. Oh, gotcha. So there. So bishop d3. I'm kind of curious what you mean by after this bishop to. Are you talking about bishop to f d3? Because I don't know if there's any bishop to f3. Well, we'll summarize this up this section here. Just remember, whatever what is to play here, white's lost because he surrendered his only advantage, which was his pawns, and now it's equal. Let's see, 2, 5. Yeah, it's actually, this pawn might even fall after you doubled. Oh, gotcha. So you're talking about the move when I doubled. Okay. Okay, we'll go over that really efficiently here. Okay, okay, there. I doubled, and then bishop to, okay, bishop F. Okay, gotcha. I see what you're saying. So probably that would then FC8 is probably not the best then at that line. Well, we really don't have to worry. Even if we doubled, bishop here doesn't really do anything because the queen guards it. So this doubling is fine at this point. We still have this idea, and he'll lose his rook. So potentially, if we play here, he plays there, takes, king up, takes, king takes, and we're now winning. Okay, he can't take here because if he does, he again loses the rook. Okay. So you're thinking G4 at this point. Okay. G4. Let's take. So bishop takes. Bishop check. Then we check there. If we come down, we grab the... Actually, he has to stay intact, so he probably would play here. Because he doesn't want to come here, because the queen would come in with check. So king there. Then we would actually take. When he takes, we bring the queen down. When the king comes up, we grab the bishop. And so we just munch everything. He does have this, so yeah, I see what you're saying. He really can't take yeah, there is mate, so we do have to be very cautious here. So wow, yeah, I guess there is mate. Yeah. So he can't come blitzing in then. So this move doesn't work. Let's see. Wow, surprisingly that is a mate for black. So mate 5, wow. Mate 6. So you'd actually have to, wow. So we have to delete that. Let's see, what did we do? What did we go wrong here then? Okay, what would be the proper move then? Oh, okay. Coming up there. Then with okay, bishop checks. So then that's not the best move. Okay. Or that. Alright, yeah, I see. Yeah, it's still bad. That's pretty interesting for sure. Still, it's still okay for white then. Yeah, I stand corrected on that then. Well, he used Fritz, so Fritz isn't as strong as Stockfish is now. So you gotta think this is a older engine. So it was doing the best it could, right? Okay. Yeah, I see that. That is very informative, as Yazra would say, or teachable. I have a trouble pinpointing just where Black went wrong in his game. The reality may be either this move here. He's talking about, he was looking at this game. He couldn't really find out where Black went wrong, but he said that this had to have been the linchpin that sunk the boat. So with that, this is the weakest move. Sets up for the entire downfall of Black. So now we'll do one puzzle and then I got a log. Let's get it right, guys. Let's get it right. No, I wasn't talking about you. I was just saying that Fritz makes mistakes. See, Stockfish, they've improved engines. They're up to 3,300 rating, which is crazy. And I'm sure that Stockfish was maybe not Stockfish. Sorry, Fritz. During the time that this gentleman was looking it up, or the author of Play the London System, I'm sure maybe it was 2,500 at that point. It didn't have probably the computing power as we have it now, so it's not uncommon that it probably made a mistake. But you found the mistake, which is very good. So that's really good. You found why. You actually found the mistake that Fritz made. So I gotta commend you on that. That's pretty deep. So let's see, Fox, you are saying engines have come a long way, so you can't get upset with Fritz. Probably first generation Fritz. It's doing. It's like on Scotty. I'm computing the best I can, Captain. And the computer's like, my engine's about to blow. They've come a very long way. So let's see. Bishop takes the knight. Bishop takes the bishop. Bishop takes the bishop on e7. Queen takes the bishop, and then knight takes d5. Huh. I'm almost thinking that potentially it's not knight. I'm thinking it's the other way around, Fox. I'm thinking it's knight takes. No, that can't be right. I think I'm mistaken on that. Because, yeah. Yeah, I think yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I see that because of this pin here. Yeah. Yes. The pin on the E file. That makes sense now. Yep. So bishop takes is killer, because when bishop takes, queen takes, and then the knight takes, and we're up a whole piece because of this pin on the e-pawn. Yeah, good find there. Come on. Don't fail me now. Don't fail me now. Come on, reconnect. Come on. Oh no, what is the sitch? Don't, no, come on. You're kidding me. Hold on. Let me see if I'll try reloading it up again. Oh, it's under maintenance, so guys, I guess I gotta say adieu on this, because there's yeah, so I guess we're just gonna have to I'm gonna have to say we'll have to find out tomorrow what the puzzle is. Okay, guys, so I guess we're gonna have to log for tonight. Great work though. Great job, guys. You found I gotta say, you found Fritz's weakness, so that was a great find there. Good work. But always remember, there are drawbacks to moves, okay? You just have to be patient, take your time, and find out what the drawback is. And if it's enough drawn back, you can actually win a piece. That it's, you know what I mean? Or you can play the rook move that we talked about and get a double exclam. That's a cool one too. Well, always remember what Bruce Lee said, that there are no limits. There are plateaus, but we must not stay there. You must go beyond them. You have to go beyond the plateau that you're at. You can at this moment, but when you feel like, man, I just keep going like in the Sahara Desert, and it just feels like it goes on and on. Maurice Ashley says, for the time being, love the plateau, but like Bruce Lee says, don't stay there. Keep moving forward. And another phrase that he also said is, knowing is not enough, we must apply. So you can know that you're on a plateau, but unless you apply your knowledge, you can't get to, in like stairs, you can't get to the next step. And eventually you get to the top of the staircase, and that's when you get your Grandmaster title. But until then, we're constantly learning and learning, and even the Grandmasters are constantly learning. You know, how they get to be super Grandmasters is they never stop learning. And then we have to also remember, willing is not enough, we must do. So you could be willing to go for your Grandmaster title, or IM, or you know, whatever level, be a expert, master. You can you can will to do that, but unless you do it, you can will, but unless you do it, then it will never be possible. And I know you guys got what it takes. You know what? I love that phrase that we always talk about. We hang up our coat, we hang up our hat, we sit down at the table and do the puzzle that most can't do. We find that puzzle. So great job, guys. And we'll remember what Hannibal Smith said, you have to be the one to push the move. You have to be the one that you know where it's going. And if you lose, learn from it, apply it, get stronger, and come back much better. Okay, and also, guys, there's a hurricane hitting the Gulf states, so keep them in your prayers and thoughts. And also, Japan's getting hit with a really big hurricane too, so a lot of disasters going on. So keep Japan and the Gulf states in your thoughts and prayers. Okay, guys, be blessed. As Wesley So says, through the Lord Jesus, as I say, God bless, and I'll see you guys next time on Chess Cruncher TV. Have a blessed morning, afternoon, and evening, guys, and keep learning, keep pushing forward. You're doing great. And Lord willing, I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll get into the next chapter, chapter 9. Other moves inside the London system, which should be fun and interesting. We got done with the Benoni. So yay! Congrats, guys. Go Chess Cruncher. Great work. Bye bye, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Be blessed.